Happy holidays, everybody. You know, this time of year makes me really grateful. Really grateful that Jesus was willing to take a few rocks so we could have a couple days off. So shout out to you, bro. Today, I want to return to a classic on this channel, and that is confessionals. Confessions are the black coffee of this channel in that if you time it right, it'll go well with a meal, and you'll lay a nice Yuletide log by the end of it. So I don't think this video needs any further introductions, so welcome to another round of Weird DMs Christmas Confessions Edition. Let's get into it. So Mike had a first date Thursday, went to IKEA in Reading, but the M4 is shut. Oh, hold on. I was reading this like Reading, Pennsylvania, but that last bit, the M4 is shut, that lets me know we are dealing with a Brit. So Mike had a first date Thursday, went to IKEA in Reading, but the M4 is shut, so they take the back roads. Mike's date is chatting away when suddenly a big red deer walks out in front of Mike's car. He slams the brakes on, but he clips it. So they get out the car and the deer's in the road, alive, back legs crumpled. Mike can't bring himself to leave it to suffer. So in front of his date, he gets down on the ground, puts the deer in a headlock, and chokes the deer out for 2 whole minutes to put it out its misery. His date is crying the whole time. Once it's done, they get back in the van and they carry on to IKEA. However, he doesn't think they'll meet again. So there's a lot I want to say here. First of all, I can't believe a Brit actually stopped its car to get out and choke a deer. Here's my impression of a British person running over a deer. Oh dear. I gotta say, man, going deer hunting with a Kia Sorento is crazy. Normally, you're supposed to do it with a rifle or a crossbow, but bringing a van just to make sure it can't run away from you so you can fucking just to get a UFC highlight with an unsuspecting deer, that is crazy. This is not the behavior I would expect from a British person. So, I don't know what to say. Frankly, I'm speechless. I like this sentence too, carry on to IKEA. I like to imagine you guys in IKEA and you're like, hi, 1 deer coffin, please. Also, this sentence about his date crying the whole time, typically couples break down after building the furniture. So you got that out of the way going into it. Whatever you bought, I like to imagine that the building process was fairly cathartic. My hamster died. I don't care. I need to take a break from all this reading. Let's see what the voicemails are sounding like. Ranking cousins.
Hi, Noel. So my worst holiday confession is that my sister and my cousin will sometimes get together after our family party and discuss how cute or attractive they find our male cousins. And I usually don't participate in these conversations because I think it's a little odd, and I've told them that, but I would have to agree with their consensus on which ones they find cute or not.
COVID destroyed you guys. That's awesome, man. I'm glad you're skirting the outer layers of incest. That's cool. I think that's something you should share with the family. I think all 3 of you should walk into the living room and go, guys, we figured it out. And they go, what'd you figure out? We're like, we know who the hottest cousin is. Everyone's like, oh, stop it. And they all laugh and you go, no, seriously. We know who the hottest cousin is. Congratulations. You earned it. Baby ran over mom and wasted $500. Hey Noel, on Christmas Day in 2016, my baby sister thought she killed my mom. My sister was 3 years old and my parents had gifted her this $500 gigantic motorized princess carriage. Image attached. I think it's worth seeing what this is. Children's toys are crazy. This is what the Hunger Games elites would sit in when they talked about making poor people eat each other. The carriage was 24 volts, whereas children's toy cars like this usually are less than half that amount. Oh shit, so she's got a Tesla battery in there. If anything, based on the design, they've basically set your baby sister up with a toddler's monster truck, so I can only imagine this is gonna go really well. My sister was really afraid of this gift at first, which is understandable from the eyes of a 3-year-old as it looked huge. And it took my parents hours that day to finally convince her to sit inside. They paid 500 big bucks for this thing. You know, you could pay $1 to get something from IKEA. I don't blame them for wanting her in it. Once she was finally behind the wheel, which, let me clarify, this contraption was still inside the house and in front of the tree, everyone was too busy swooning over how cute she looked that they didn't see this baby press the gas and go flying across the room, barreling into my mother, straight through the tree, and crashing into the wall. Everyone fucking panicked. And upon saving my baby sister from the glorified car wreck, her first reaction was uncontrollably sobbing over the fact that she seemingly just killed our mom by running her over and ruining our Christmas. Thankfully, this event didn't actually hurt anybody long term, nor did it ruin the holiday. But my sister was traumatized from that day and refused to ever go near the princess carriage again. So $500 wasted, childhood trauma acquired. Merry Christmas and happy holidays. You know, your sister is lucky that you have such a loving mom, because had her mom been Casey Anthony, she would not have tolerated an attack like that. Christmas trees sold for crack money, an American tradition. Happy holidays, Noel. I'm gonna cut to the chase. When I was around 9 or 10, my tweaker stepdad sold our Christmas tree for crack money. My mom was working late waitressing on Christmas Eve, so my little brother and I were decorating for Christmas. We lived in a nasty-ass trailer with holes in the floor and roaches. I ended up making a Christmas tree out of old mail and paper I found around the trailer that I colored on and taped to the wall of the living room. My stepdad ended up coming in later that night once my mom got home, and he completely tweaked out. My man thought there was listening devices in our buttons on clothes, and my mom's tattoos were hieroglyphics that were speaking to him. Safe to say the cops were called, and we spent the remainder of my night at my dad's. This story in particular jumps out at me. Now, traditionally, I'm not a huge Christmas guy, but the last few years I have been participating in the financial tradition of getting fisted by a Christmas tree lot. And I say that because it's crazy the type of money you pay for a real tree. You pay anywhere from $100 to $300 for a decent sized tree. And really, you're just buying something that has a 1 in 30 chance of catching fire to your living room, which hopefully catches to the gas line and it kills all your neighbors. But before all that, you still have to go through the act of buying it. And the thing I've learned over the last few years is buying a Christmas tree at a Christmas tree lot can be very competitive. So competitive that I understand how easy it was for your dad to take your Christmas tree, pull up to a tree lot and go, I need 200 or a sack of that good white. Everything I'm about to say next is horrible, and I'll preface with, this is an unfortunate situation. But the image of a guy roaming around the parking lot of a Christmas tree lot with an already decorated Christmas tree, walking up to people going, I mean, I'll say this already decorated Christmas tree for $40. It would take everything in my body to not look at that person and not think, yo, I think this dude will go down on me for a nominal fee. So, God bless you. At least it's your stepdad. An even funnier image is picturing your dad walking up to a trap or a dealer going, hey man, I'll give you this already decorated Christmas tree for a little bump right there. And a dealer looked at that tree and goes, you know what? Come in here, man. Come take a ride on the glass pipe. That shit is nice. You and your little brother should be so proud because you guys can decorate a tree so well that it could get someone a hit of crack. That is talent. I hope you went into a creative field because clearly you have it. You have it. I want everyone to type thank you in the comments right now. This is a beautiful story. It's hilarious and it's very vulnerable. And we thank you for this. So thank you. Now, if you know me, you know I can relate to this one. Holiday circumcision. Hey, Noel and team. When I was 8 years old, my parents thought it would be a good idea to have my brother and I circumcised 5 days before Christmas. You guys aren't just brothers, you're circ brothers. The procedure was painful. It left me and my balls feeling sore for days on end. You know something they don't talk about enough when you get circumcised at a sentient age? Phantom foreskin. You know people who get in some horrible accident and they have phantom limb? Phantom foreskin. It's a real issue. You should look it up. It was recommended I sit around and do nothing for a couple days after the procedure so I could heal from getting snipped up. However, my parents had bought me a skateboard from Walmart 2 weeks before this. So naturally, I didn't let the opportunity to ride the skateboard pass me by. I had to go look up the most relevant skateboard trick to this, and my friend, I think that would be the willy grind. I rode my skateboard in the house with an unhealed dick for days after my procedure. This was not a good idea. Fast forward to Christmas Day, there I am unwrapping my first ever Nintendo DS Lite with a copy of Lego Batman. I am hyped to see my new presents when suddenly I look down and see my pajamas stained red from blood. I am immediately freaked out by this and start crying. I was bleeding from unhealed wounds from the circumcision caused by riding that skateboard instead of sitting around and letting myself heal post-op. My parents rushed me to the hospital immediately to have my wiener restitched. Because I was living in the Midwest at the time, the nearest children's hospital was an hour away from my town. So I spent the whole hour car ride over to the hospital laying down in the back seat while playing Lego Batman on my new Nintendo DS. This is the only Christmas I remember vividly from my childhood, unfortunately. Shout out to all my people getting circed this holiday season. Merry Christmas to all. Would have been awesome if all your presents were turtlenecks that year. There must have been a deal on circumcisions, because the fact that your parents took you in for a twofer, to take you and a brother in at the same time, is just, that has to be financially motivated. No question. 5 days before Christmas. What doctor needed money that bad that he goes, I'll take two right now. I'll snip them up right now. Worst holiday confessions. I don't know if this is a holiday confession or just something that happened around the holidays, but I thought I'd share mine. In late November 2019, I had started seeing this guy, P. We were both in college. He was an RA, not mine, but one of my friends, and finals were coming up. So it was mostly casual. Somehow, the conversation of if we were getting anything for each other for Christmas came up. We agreed to keep it cheap since it was new, and he told me he'd think of something and let me know what he wanted. Christmas Eve came around and P still hadn't told me what he wanted, so I texted him asking if he still wanted anything. He just texted back and said we could do nudes to save money. So yeah, I ghosted him after that. Makes sense, I respect that. However, I do want to make fun of you a little bit and remind you that you were recording a hall monitor. So, well everyone, I think that's going to do it. Thanks for stopping by. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.